All right, boys and girls, it is Tuesday, July 20th of 2021. SPY, big recovery day today from the huge sell-off yesterday. We had 1.4% update today. Looking at a 30-minute chart here. Of course, after this big sell-off, just looks like a pure green spike, and that's how it felt in the morning, riding this thing all the way up. I wish I was riding it all the way up. But just kind of looks to me as if it might be a little bit of a bouncing ball that first bounces here, and now we may see a little bit of rolling over and maybe some more sell-off here, and just starting a pretty slow downtrending channel here in the next few days, next few weeks, maybe just a little break at least from something of this huge, insane run-up for so long. It's unsustainable to a fault. So we'll keep an eye on that with SPY. Market internals for today: NASDAQ, a total of 178 billion total dollar volume traded. The NYSE, 268 billion total dollar volume traded, and OTC markets, just a little over 2 billion, 2.05 dollar volume traded in the OTC markets. One real short trade for me today, that was APT. I had two. Of course, I get up early today and just looking for the morning dump opportunity setups. Nothing really piques my interest hard. We had ENZ, which I was watching and aware of, and oh my gosh, it looks, of course, perfect now, like a beautiful morning dump, and I was watching this thing all the way here, but it just had a low float. I think this thing was, oh no, it was 36 million, but it had the new Delta coronavirus news on it, which made me a little hesitant to try and pull the trigger on it. I didn't feel that it was up enough or just pushing enough volume at the time of the spike when I was looking at it. Decent amount of overhead, but just not a great amount of volume coming in on this one. And it was a great one, 36 million total dollar volume today. But didn't pull the trigger. Obviously, looking in hindsight, it was perfect 10% opportunity throughout the day. MDWD was another one. Just wasn't a pure green opportunity spike, or even more so a pure green red crack of VWAP to try and break under. Of course, looking at hindsight, once again, you would have been perfect using that entry signal, but if you got your short position involved here, you would have been cut and then been kind of screwed to have to take 2-day trades after it tried the second entry signal here. Just a little frustrating choppiness on that one. I haven't, been totally pleased or dead set on any morning dump setups in the past 2-3 days, I think, as of now, since the market took that tumble. In Monday, so 2 days. But the other one that I was looking for as a first green day short was NRBO. So looking at this one from the scanner yesterday, this is what we were seeing in the after hours. I believe they had news of FDA breakthrough device design, blah blah blah, fibromyalgia, which was apparently, so this news was released this morning, so this was a buy the rumor, buy more of the news. And actually talking to Chris about this one too, didn't want to get short because of how well it was holding these levels, how much volume was coming in, the fact that VWAP was holding so well and was actually rising from yesterday's after hours too, so didn't want to get involved in a short. Didn't really necessarily mean that I want to get involved as a long, but of course, looking at it, even in the morning opportunities here, there was some 10% chances here as a long. Very choppy, not very true the whole way of that it was going to be an update today, but huge kind of green move out of nowhere and then pull back all the way back to even below where it started from that peak. Crazy volatility. You can see that too in a little bit of how much VWAP was trying to follow this move. I think that's a big indicator of how solid these breakouts and hard moves become. Is check the VWAP. Is the VWAP matching what that move says? That's what we look for and what happens on these initial spikes in the pre-market as a morning dump setup. That's what you got to be looking for in the market hours too, I think, especially to see if the move is really proven true, or if it's to say that if it continues to keep going and the VWAP is just lagging so far behind, that truly is unsustainable at that point. And as you can see here in this price action today, it continued just to fade into the close and deny that full move that really didn't have any hard continuation behind it as seen in the VWAP. So it didn't take NRBO, but took APT. Looked pretty awesome on the daily. Looking at this standalone volume candle on this individual green day. Let's look at it. Can we do this? And then, yeah, especially the overhead and its ability to just spike and fail. Did have some, this initial run up, of course, was multiple days. And these few days, these other peaks here were over the course of weeks of trading. But this one, this strategy, all I'm really looking for is just a quick 10% move. I'm not looking to try and say that this company is a failure, but I'm just really looking for overhead resistance. I'm looking for huge standalone, for lack of a better term, volume compared to recent history. And that's what we found on this one on APT, with the fact of that it hadn't broken those previous higher days as a risk level. It was opening pretty weak, pretty choppy even in the pre-market, and I knew that and understood that. So I kind of got to this point too thinking, man, it's looking pretty great. It could crack these levels here in the pre-market. So I got a very chasey here with this first entry, and I think I got bottom ticked at 935 on this candle for my short entry, which should have been including me that, man, I got a stupid trade choice with that first entry, of course, trying to chase this. I should have been willing to just let it go if it was going to do the move as it would. Or even sized in. I only took a 75 share position on this one, which I felt was an appropriate position size, not trying to hammer this thing with a full account size when I haven't been trading these first green day short patterns in a while, since I've been focusing more on the morning dumps. But this one I felt was well appropriated for what I wanted to take. And yes, this pattern that I've aligned myself to keeps the risk level at that previous high of day to say the trend can still fall off if it stays or maintains this overhead. But with this one, I knew it was just going to be choppy, and I mean, looking at of course, the float is 12 million, reported short interest of 10% on that as well. I was just not in the mood to try and play guessing games with these first green day shorts. I still want to keep my mental capital in the moment as of right now that these morning dump opportunities have my full attention, which we didn't see today, so allowed me to take this trade on for the morning. Got freaking screwed and stopped out here with this perfect algo hit. I don't know how they get inside my mind or how I'm able to do this so awesomely, but sell the freaking bottoms and buy the freaking tops. It's just absolutely ridiculous. So yeah, I kind of arbitrarily saw the fall off here right away at the market open, which was awesome on that huge volume candle as well. Started shopping around some more. The $9 whole level became a little bit of a factor on the bid in level 2, but nothing really crazy. Oh, there's also 942 was also a huge size on the bid in the pre-market. And right before market open, it started printing off huge shares. Print at 942. Pretty big size, like 1,000 share sized orders going off like right before market open. So I'm like, oh, that's kind of confusing. And the bid was still sitting there at 942. So just interesting to see that, thinking, okay, maybe 942 becomes a level for some reason, but just immediately broke after that bid just went away, whether it was eaten or taken off the table. Fell off, and then, I was coming into the mentality once again that I try to do with my morning dump setups of, okay, just really put the ticker on your watch list, but like take it off of your screen. Don't focus so hard on it. Don't try to play these emotional games like this in order to get you out. But then it just started kind of squeezing rapidly, and the difference of the spread was varying rapidly between all these different points without really any volume coming in to push this price action. I just got so confused, and then watching it kind of reclaim back above VWAP, and then it was like, okay, we're at like 9.2. I'll just cut it at 9.3, so I have my order ready. Give myself a little bit of space from my entry just so we can clear the borrowing fees, whatever. And then it was just like 9.2 was trading, and then like one trade went off, and we were at like 9.36, and then 9.39. I'm like, oh my gosh, are you kidding me? So then again, for my exit, I'm just panicking out again, trying to get up, and I got up barely at 9.39 somehow, some way. Again, there's no volume to support why this was moving so quick and so rapidly. It was just the choppiness of the spread, and somebody obviously had position that was shown later here in this candle that got squeezed very atrociously to the upside. I was glad I was not sticking around for that, because had I maintained that risk level of, okay, I'm going to stick to 10-2, I'm going to keep a wide risk level, which is wide risk level for what I was trading, I would have to feel way more, I would have to have taken less of a position size in order to feel comfortable with a 10-2 risk level on this one. I mean, risking $20 at most for what I feel the probability of this trade was. But obviously, in hindsight, once again, this is just another chart to add to the collection of keeping your risk level and your parameters for this setup the same all the way through, and don't get played on emotions, because this order and this entry and this exit are just pure emotion. That's the reasons why I got in, the reason why I got out, and totally amateur, totally not profitable in the future. If I want to be trading bigger size on this, I would have had to take so much more slippage if I was trading a bigger size on this. I mean, over the tens of thousands, of course, in share size. But just a learning lesson again that, hey, we're on the right track. This is the dump we were looking for. We almost came down and touched down to $8 from 9.4 level, 9.5 level. But just frustrating on that one. $43 million volume in total today, which is pretty nice to see. But yeah, it's frustrating and weird to see all that choppiness on that one. And of course, yeah, I also knew it was going to be risky with no news on this initial run-up from yesterday, so I had to factor that in even before going into the trade. SGOC was one of my longs. These were the only real trades today, APT and SGOC. SGOC has been holding up well. If we're looking at a 20-day here, this is a 1-hour candle chart. Had the big spike last week Monday. Yeah, that's last week Monday. The continuation day, the second day. Big red day on that one, and then kind of had this short squeeze from that day on this Wednesday, but still has just been hovering around, holding higher lows. And anytime I feel I see that, when it's just not completely dying off, that to me is just becomes. Bryce Tui had a great line yesterday in one of the Stocks of Trades small cap recaps, in which he said when a bearish sign fails to work, it obviously becomes bullish, and vice versa, which of course had been quoted before, but him just saying that again was a great reminder of that type of pattern, that when this thing just doesn't completely die off and it continues to keep hanging around, it's usually a good sign for longs, and a scared sign, more of a scared sign for shorts, I should say, that this thing is just not dying, so that more momentum, more opportunity can come into this thing to push it higher and scare out more shorts in that way. So trading this thing in the pre-market, I was doing very well. Seeing it, how well it was holding here, got in a pretty early entry, held a little bit of pullback, but we came right back above VWAP, and then boom, big surge. And 10% would have been 15.6 from, I think it was 14.3. So it's at 15.7. Yeah. So obviously we were nowhere near, and this was only, I think this was a 10 share position size again. So yeah, I probably would have taken off like 5 shares if we've gotten to 10%, but we've came nowhere close and just started just spurting off and falling once again. And really the trade I was looking for out of this was based upon these past days of the run-up, how volatile and how pure the movements have been straight away in the morning. So Monday, it wasn't so much the case. You see a little bit indecision, but pretty much a pure red move after that of what it was going to do and trend for the morning session at least. You can see the day before that, so this was that last week Friday, big run up in the pre-market, but in the morning you could tell within the first few minutes where the trend was going to be for that morning session. The Thursday before that too, the opposite way, it was the long side. That's how it was going to be the first. I mean, it halted as well too, I think. Yep, multiple times here, I think. But that was what was the trend was going to be for that morning. Just a huge spike opportunity, and then same thing on this day. Right away within the morning. Yeah, a little bit of sell-off here, but within the first 10 minutes, within the first 15 minutes, the trend was defined on what it was going to do. So that was my thesis with this one of how well it was holding. if there was more shorts trying to be bagged in this, they could get spiked incredibly hard, and we could have tested this high of day, this 29 level, maybe even come back to 25, 22, somewhere around there at least, with how volatile this thing has been in the past. But once again, I just got scooped up by the chop monster. If we look at a tick chart, we can see my entries and exits a little bit more clearly of what I was thinking. Just kind of paper cutting myself over and over again of, as we were dumping, I'm thinking, okay, cut it here. I just don't want to take any more slippage if that really is the true trend. Like I said before and mentioned of how this thing has just been defining the trend right away. I do not want to be trying to bag hold this. So we came back right above VWAP pretty soon after, within the second, third minute of market open. Tried again, thinking we would maybe test these pre-market highs, but started failing again. Came back up again, hashtag choppy monster. Tried it once more, was looking pretty good, and then just ultimate reject and cut it at VWAP. So that was the trend for today. Again, some choppy tries and just fall off in VWAP tests, but ultimately the trend today was fading. So it's still holding decently. It's not like it's, of course, this isn't looking the greatest right now, but it's still higher lows. It's not dead as of yet. So we'll keep it on watch. And ultimately going into any trades, if I do try to trade this in the next few days, I'll have to understand you've either got to be a perfect entry and just wait for that awesome move immediately within your 10-minute time frame, or you got to be ready to sit through an insane amount of chop at over a daily time frame with this one, because yeah, setting a risk level on this one, even if this one comes back to this like 861 point and tries to dump underneath, I could still see it coming from like the 2020 craziness. This thing could still come up and retest and squeeze out the shorts that were thinking they were getting a great opportunity. For how choppy this one has been, I don't doubt it. So certainly we'll keep it on watch, but keeping in the mindset, if I want to put my money in this again, that you're going to have to sit through a lot of chop. You're going to have to set your risk levels at appropriate places and trade it wisely in that fashion. So then, yep, IMNM was another one that was a potential morning dump opportunity. I saw pull up on the morning scanner. Wasn't the greatest, and the fundamentals on this one, it's an American biotech. Float of 8 million, of course, which scared me off a little bit. Short report interest of 2%. News of their antibody, blah, 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 neutralizes the COVID-2 Delta variant in clinical testing. So again, this kind of second wave of COVID news, I'm really not trusting it as of yet as a solid gap and crap news dump opportunity. I think that could be, as of for right now, that those type of news catalysts and sectors aren't really the most opportune or pristine charts to try and play to the downside for a just pure gap and then crap in the pre-market or in the market hours. But this one did the same thing of just fading the rest of the day. It's showing a little bit of strength and peaks above VWAP, but declining VWAP and fading price action the whole day. But for this trade, where do you set your risk level? It's where, yes, we're on declining daily with pretty nice overhead and pretty standalone volume candle day. But for this intraday, like how do you set your risk level? Do you have to just go to whole levels? Because that's the only real thing you can attach yourself to as a short when there's just really no overhead resistance as a technical level to base yourself off of. So tough to try and trade that at really any point for me, in my opinion. But I know some Bryce Tui was going long on this one, as he showed in the small cap recaps, looking for a continuation, that these peaks would be some tests of high of day. But ultimately, I think, of course, he had to cut as the trends were shown to have changed and just fade off the rest of the day. AEHR. Oh my gosh. So this was the squeezer yesterday. I nailed the move from here to here on super small size, but this was holding up very well yesterday. Holding up decently with big rising VWAP in this pre-market today. Of course, we had the fade under what was this range or consolidation, if you want to call it that, from yesterday. Again, all these are just choppy broccoli, not fun to be a part of unless you are somehow able to bottom tick and buy and just hold with green all the way up. But just a pure dump out of the open. I think a few other people were looking for a dip and rip opportunity on this one for a continuation, a third green day, but just no real opportunity, and no even opportunity for any dip buys really if you were trying to buy weakness of these red candles like here in this minute with this huge volume. It's not like it's a great opportunity at all. Yeah, you make a few cents, but just dumping hard. So this one will be on the short watch list coming tomorrow. I don't know if I'll pull the trigger myself. I will 100% keep an eye on it and learn from it if that's what it's going to do, if this first red day pattern wants to really work out. But just kind of funny and crazy to see just how pure and unbountiful it was today on AEHR. Again, this one, float of 18 million, reported short interest of 0.5%. So, yeah, just pretty funny. That's funny. There's a news article that says AEHR fails to keep ball rolling. That's funny. NURO, pretty big mover today. Did not really trade it. Saw this in the pre-market on the morning dump scanner. Did not like it, but just because of how little percentage move it was up. Was holding decently well, and yeah, I certainly want to stay away from it. And morning session really didn't do anything again. Yeah, you can get your, it was decently volatile. If you're taking this from a 3.9 base here, there's your 10% at 4.2 when you cross above VWAP. And if you're holding the rest of the day, geez, this thing just exploded. 200% move today to the upside, and of course touching even higher in the after hours here. The fundamentals, they had an FDA news again. Yeah, I mentioned the news before. Float of 3 million. Just super small microflow on this one, which may have been the reason for these halts here, this continual squeezing up. Crazy price action that will be on the watch list. Again, don't know if I want to put my foot in front of that line of fire, but I can't deny it or can't turn away from that type of percentage moves in these summer trading months. And AMC, great update today. The daily looked pretty awesome, coming from, you know, a little bit of rebound here. We'll see if it has any legs to continue moving on. It's pretty awesome. Price hold here in the after hours. Still pretty far from VWAP though. So again, we'll see if it will hold any of these gains for tomorrow, the next few days. If it wants to bring in the apes once again, if they have any say of the Planet of the Apes movie. But yeah, I really doubt it. I think this was just a nice shorts covering day here from this big fall off. But yeah, a little bit of a reclaim on SPY, a little bit of a rebound, continuing to jostle that volatility. At VIX, we're at still above 20 again, which we haven't been for a little while. Just been trending these past few months, 2 months under VWAP. We had a little tick above, but back above for now. Again, we'll see if we can continue to hold that and thrive on that volatility, because that's what, again, what we need as day traders. And it's good to see that it's not just one simple action. It's not a one-trick pony that it just goes up, only that it can come down and then go up too. But awesome trading day today, limiting losses, cutting losses quickly when I realized it's a mistake and not the pristine opportunities, and keeping the mental capital for when it is important and when we can hammer it. So thank you guys for watching. Appreciate the feedback and support. We'll see you on the next one.